So let's think about what this could look like over a unit. So I might start, if I'm going to teach the short vowel A, by comparing it to a vowel that students already know, short vowel U. Now the first kind of sort that I might do would be something like this. Okay, class, this is A. Say that sound, please. And this is Say that sound, please. You know that word. You know that. You know that sound. Okay. The first picture I have is a bag. Does bag have A or A? So we'll put it right up here to help us remember this sound. And on this side we have like in nut. A nut. So I'll put that picture to help us remember the sound. All right. Now I'm going to show you a picture and you tell me if it goes under nut or bag. All right, this is wag. The dog's tail is wagging. Wag. Does that sound like bag or does it sound like nut? That's right, wag sounds like bag. The next word is tag. Say that. Does tag sound like wag and bag or nut? There you go. And then we have cut. Say that. Does cut sound like nut or bag? There we go. The next picture is shut. Say that. Does shut sound like cut or like wag and tag? Alrighty. And so this kind of sort, what kind of sort is this? This is is it open or closed? It's closed because I gave you the categories. Is it a picture sort or, I'm sorry, is it a sound sort or is it a pattern sort? It is a sound sort, right? We're using pictures, but we call them pattern sorts, or we call them sound sorts because we're using the pictures to help kids think about the sound. Now, you know another sort that we also use to help kids think about the sound. What sort also helps kids think about the sound? That's right, it would be a blind sort. All right. If we were going to teach short vowels, the other thing that's tricky for kids when they're learning short vowels is, remember, in the letter name stage, they've just learned their consonants and then they move on to short vowels. Now this is a little tricky because kids only know their consonants and maybe a vowel or two when we get started with this. And so we want to actually help kids when we're teaching them short vowels. We actually use a different kind of sort that we haven't talked about yet called the cut and paste sort. Now we're only going to use this with short vowels because it's only at this point that kids need that extra help in learning to read these words. And so the way a cut and paste sort would go would be something like this. All right, class. Yesterday we listened for the short A sound, and today we're going to learn how to read some short A words. So this word, this is a picture of a bag. Yeah, we had that from yesterday. Now, one of these words says bag. What would you expect to see at the beginning of the word bag? B. Which one of these words is bag? Is that a B? Is that a B? Is that a B? Oh, it's this one. So we'll put bag with bag. This is a bag. Good. The next word we're going to try to find, let's see, we need to find, what's that picture from yesterday? That's a picture of wag. All right, one of these two words is wag. What would you expect to see at the beginning of wag? A W? Which one of these words is wag? There it is. So what's that word? Wag. And what's this word? Bag. Good. And then we have one more picture. Let's see. We have a picture of the flag. Good. One of these words is flag. What would you expect to see at the beginning of flag? An F All right, is this flag or is this flag? There you go. Now this is called a cut and paste sort. The prompt is important in that you're helping kids use what they already know. And when kids are learning short vowels, the thing they only know is, a step back would be consonants. And so we're using what they know about consonants to find the word that goes with that picture. They already know what the names of these pictures are because we sorted them the day before in that closed teacher-directed sound sort. Again, we only use cut and paste sorts when we're working with short vowels because children at that point don't know a whole lot of phonics features to decode these words. So you will not do cut and paste sorts with other phonics features. It's only something we do with short vowels. All right. After we've done a cut and paste sort, so we've done the work to help kids know how to read these words, then the next thing we're going to do, maybe this is Wednesday, is a closed teacher-directed pattern sort. So this sound is class, and this sound is, that's right. Now let's remind ourselves what these sounds are. I'm going to put flag next to a, and I'll put cut next to us, just to remind us. All right, can you read this word? Flag. Does flag have an a, or does flag have an in it? Good. The next word is wag. Does wag have the a, or does wag have the And you would have students then read the word and then decide what the middle sound was. Now, there's something a little bit problematic about my words here. Are all my words fair? Yeah, all my words are fair. They all have letter name stage features in them. The problematic piece is this font, right? Kids are going to be looking for this A if I put this A in the heading. So be careful about the font that you use on your words that you create for your pattern sorts. This is a pattern sort. And pattern sorts are really helping the student read those words. All right. So once I get through that, maybe the next day, I might have kids write the words. So class, the sound here is and the sound here is ah. And if we need, we can put a picture there to help us remember those sounds. That's always helpful. I'm going to put for cut and a flag for ah. This time I'm going to say a word, and I want you to write it. If it has the ah sound, you'll write it here. If it has the sound, you'll write it here. So the first word is cat. Say all the sounds and write them under the right column. Cat. So the child would write. The next word is cup. Does cup have an or does cup have an a? Go ahead and write that word. The next word is hat. And this would be the student writing here. So the student would be doing the writing. The next word is, let's see, cut. And you can see I've gotten off the word pattern here, but it's not the first day that I'm doing a sort with students. So I can kind of decide if they're ready for this challenge of loosening up the word family. So this is an example of a closed, teacher-directed writing sort. This gives us a chance to see if kids can now produce those words that they listened to and read in previous lessons. And then I might do some activities with kids just to kind of help them practice the phonics feature. So I have this little activity called Read It, Build It, Write It. And I've just taken a sheet that I've Xeroxed that has Read It, Build It, Write It on it, and I've popped it into one of these plastic sleeves, and you'll see why in a minute. When you do that, it turns this into a reusable kind of material. So you just have kids take cards that have their phonics feature on them. These are words that they've read in previous days. And they read it, cat. And then they have a little envelope with some letters in it. And they're going to choose which letters that they would use to build cat. So k, a, t. And then you can have them change it around, mess it up a little bit, and say, can you make cat again? K, a, t. If that becomes easy, you can take away the pattern. You can say, turn your pattern over, mix it up. Can you make cat? K, a, t, cat. And then the last part, after they've read it, after they've built it a few times, and then maybe you take the pattern away, then you can say, can you write this word? So you want to have a dry erase marker, and then you can say, okay, can you write the word cat? Here it is. K, a, t. And you can see, because I am now using this in the sleeve, I can have kids erase it and write it again. Write cat again. K, a, t. Good. Do it again. K, a, t. And this is much more effective, I think, than a worksheet because we actually are getting the child to read the word multiple times, then build it multiple times, and then write it multiple times. And we can see them doing that instead of having them just create it once on a worksheet. We can then go through all the words the child has. So we can go to bat and flat. This is just a nice way of practicing kids reading the word and also making it and writing it. So we see production as well as recognition. And then another activity I might do if I were teaching this short vowel, on the back of this plastic sleeve, I'll show you, I have a little bingo board. And I would need, of course, to explain what all of these are, can and tan and sap. And I have these little blocks that are made out of paper. And I will put the template for these materials on Blackboard so you can see what they look like. And what students do is they roll the dice, and then they put the onset next to the rhyme. The word is t and tan, and then they find the picture of tan, and they can, because we have it in this plastic sleeve, mark it off and keep rolling these. So this gives them a lot of good practice. What are kids practicing here? Are they practicing recognizing these phonics features, or are they practicing writing these? Well, they're practicing reading them, which is good, right? So sometimes you get a roll that doesn't actually make a word, which you can talk about. Cad, is that a word? No. So roll again, and then we get, we got ran, and ran. So you find if you have a picture of ran. Again, this is nice because the pages can be wiped off. You can get a pack of 20 of these little plastic sleeves for about $10, so it really cuts down your paper in footprint. And then again, you can just slip in and out any kind of worksheet inside this plastic sleeve.